Hello, everybody.
Hey, Coach. Welcome. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Mark.
Please go ahead whenever you're ready.
Thank you, Mark. Want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving and go back and again thank our first responders and healthcare workers because we did this when it started, and now if you're not careful, we forget the people that are out there and working every day so hard to keep people happy and healthy. And we're back to a point where the virus is really problematic again, and a lot of people are in the hospitals. And as we all get ready for a football game and get ready to celebrate Thanksgiving, we'll have a lot of people that won't even be at home. So I do think it's important that we make sure that we continue to recognize those that have strained because of the pandemic and all the problems it's caused. And I was just thinking yesterday that whether it's our military that won't be at home or whether it's our first responders or our healthcare workers, there'll be a lot of people that will not have the Thanksgiving that many of us will have as we start looking forward to being around families and preparing for a ball game. So that being said, thank you for all you do that are out there working for us. We've had a strange schedule the last couple of weeks because school was moved up, finals are moved up, and guys have done an amazing job of trying to practice and get the schedule straight. We've had 2 to 5 guys miss practice about every day because of finals, but it is what it is. And now that we're through, it'll be even more strange for the next 2.5 weeks to be practicing without school, because it'll be more like preseason. So we'll have to we're all treading on waters that we've never been in before. So it is 2020 and we're just learning how to handle it. But practice has gone well. The guys are excited about the challenge. With challenge, there's opportunity, but they're really good. And we know how good they are. They may be the best team in the country. And I have to brag on Brian Kelly. He's Notre Dame, like Texas, is a high-profile job, and it's a great job, but a difficult job. And there's a tremendous amount of pressure every day on you. And he's been there 10 years, and I think this is his best team. And they do it right. These are bright kids, and they're very, very well coached, and they're fun to watch because we all want to get to where they are right now. The college football playoff poll to me is the first time I start looking at polls because there's resumes for teams, and now you can go back and say this team stepped up here and this team wasn't good enough, and there is some history. Preseason polls to me are worthless, and they're basically on last year and some guys that are coming back. And early polls are dangerous because we really don't know who's good and who's not. But by now, we've got a pretty good idea of who everybody is. You start looking at Notre Dame, looking at them more now than we even did on Sunday. They're a veteran team. They're 4 or 5 players to look at that are fun to watch, that you when we're recruiting, we're trying to find these guys, and when you're playing against them, they're as good as anybody in the country. And I went back to my TV days to try to pronounce number 6's name because I couldn't do it on Monday when we had our press conference. But in watching him play, he's so good. Wusu Koromua, and he is really good. He's fun to watch. He's all over the place and makes plays everywhere. And he and Kyle Hamilton, 6'4", 219, and he's a safety and is built like a linebacker and just can fly. So our fans will enjoy watching their defense because they're so well coached. They're in the right place. They play fundamentally sound. They're physical, but these 2 guys will be all over the field. So for our fans, be sure and watch number 6 and number 14 because they're NFL guys that are going to be fun to try to compete against. And then you start looking at guys on offense. Tommy Tremble, the tight end's as good as I've ever seen. He's tough. He's number 24. He can catch. He can run. He's like a wide receiver. They use him all over the place. They use their tight ends really, really well. But he can block. He's so unselfish and so physical. And then it'll be two of the best quarterbacks in the country that should be fun to watch, because Ian Book, you start looking at Sam Howell's stats, and they're very, very impressive. Well, Ian Book's 28-3, 11 touchdown passes, only 1 interception, and he's rushed for 6 touchdowns. And he's really managed the game well. They're a team that has very few penalties. They've got very few turnovers, and he's not going to make many mistakes. And they stay ahead of the chains, and that's why they're so good on third downs. Both their line of scrimmages are big and strong and really impressive. And one of the storylines of this game will be, can we hang in there with them, because they're as good as anybody at the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball. And I think the other thing is they're holding teams to 85 yards rushing. They shut Clemson's rushing game down. So the 2 games that we have lost, we've been outrushed. Every other game, we've outrushed the opponent. So that's a huge challenge for us. And when they hold you on first and second down, third down and long is when they're at their best on defense, because they're giving up only 26% when the offense is in third down situations. So it's a real challenge for us. It'll be fun to go against such a great team. I'm disappointed again that we can't have a full house. This would be so much fun. We play Notre Dame 3 years in a row here, so we have a series with them that most people don't get that opportunity to do. And they're such a great program. It's an honor for us to be able to play them. But what a crowd we'd have on Friday if we were able to get people in. This would be maybe the best crowd in our school history. Somebody laughed the other day and said it's still the hardest ticket in our sports world to get. It probably is with 3,500. That ticket's hard to find and hard to get. Also, in closing for me, I want to wish Courtney and Roy good luck as they get started today and tonight, because I know they've gone through what we've gone through with preseason and trying to practice with COVID and all of the changes that are around it as you prepare for your season. And our season has really gone well from what we thought might happen this summer. I'm proud of our guys and want to wish them the same luck with their teams. Questions, Mark?
Hey, thanks, Coach. For the group, if you have a question, please use the raise hand function. And our first question today will come from Andrew Jones.
Hey, Coach. The narrative, one of the narratives, obviously, this week is what an opportunity this is for your program. But as you go through the process of building the program into the vision that you have 3-4 years down the road, how much of a measuring stick is this to kind of determine where certain elements of the program are?
Well, Andrew, I think it's a great measuring stick. This team's as good as anybody in the country. And we're in our second year. I think I had a press conference next Tuesday 2 years ago to take this job. It was the NC State game on Friday or Saturday, and then Bubba called me on Sunday, and I'm on a plane Monday afternoon and taking the job on Tuesday. So we're coming up on 2 years, and it's obvious we've made a lot of progress. Are we ready to beat the number 2 team in the country? Who knows? But it's a great challenge for us, and with that is opportunity to show everybody in America where we are. It's interesting in looking at the progress we've made from winning one Power 5 game in 2 years to on a Friday of one of the heaviest and best days of college football in the year with the ABC game against Notre Dame, number 2 in the country. So our guys have gotten the respect. They got the respect early to be rated. It was too high, but we were rated high. They've gotten the respect that they're in the top 20, and we weren't even rated last year in the college football poll. And now for ABC, they don't put games on there that they don't think are going to be good games. So it's I think it's an outstanding compliment to our players that ABC thinks people would like to watch this game, and hopefully we can hold up our end.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Thank you, Andrew.
Let's go over to Greg Barnes, please.
Good afternoon, Mac. What is it that Notre Dame does so well in being able to stop the run?
Greg, they're older, they're experienced, they're really strong. I'm not even sure who their strength coach is, but they're so well coached too. They play with great leverage. They play outstanding gap control, and you're going to have to beat them. They're not going to beat themselves. They are in the right gap at the right time, and they're going to have an edge to their defense. And everything they do is just good. So I think that's what they do the best. I've asked that same question as I've watched them this week, and I've challenged our guys to that's who we want to be. We want to be a defense that leads the league in the country in yardage against the rush and only giving up 85 yards a game. And we want to be a defense that is going to put pressure on the quarterback and try to disrupt the quarterback. And that's who they are. Coach Clark's done an amazing job with this defense after Mike Elko left a number of years ago.
And on a different topic, you've won a lot of games in your career, but you've won a higher percentage of games coming off a bye week. Is there anything that you found that works with the players coming off an open date to help prepare them for the next game?
Yes, Greg. You go back and look at statistics, and more people are injured in bye week than any other time of the year other than preseason. And I think it's because the players lose their attention span a little bit because they don't have a game that weekend. And people say, this is a week, man, we can go back and hit them because we don't have a game. We don't have to worry about them being fresh. What we've always done is work the young ones like bowl practice and been really physical with them. But the older ones, let them start working toward the next game, which obviously is Notre Dame here, but also get them some rest. Like last week in inside drill, Javonte Williams and Michael Carter, we're not going to take any snaps because they've been hit enough. And a lot of people just don't do it that way. So I really think that ours is a get rested, get well, more like spring practice, teach the young ones. You can still be physical with them, but prepare for the next game. And that's pretty much what we do with bowl games as well.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, let's go over to Ross Martin.
Hey, Mac, I was wondering if you could just kind of, is there any update on Storm Duck and kind of how he's progressing this week and how having him back and calling Michael back helps your defense on Saturday or on Friday, rather?
Yeah, Ross, Jeremy gives the updates on our injuries. I'm sure you didn't forget that. If you want Jeremy to come back over and tell you that it will be a game day decision, he'll do that. But all the guys that Jeremy mentioned on Sunday and Monday are still in the same position. We'll have a meeting here in a minute, and we'll get a report from yesterday, some that are trying to practice, and all these guys are working toward playing on Friday. But sometimes it's weird that you can feel like you're doing better and then go have a good practice, and the next day you're swollen and sore, and then you can't practice. So we'll get that information. But I would think that all the guys that we mentioned on Monday will come down to probably pregame when the coaches and the trainers watch them work.
Okay, and then it doesn't look like there's many other questions, so I thought I'd get a goofy one in here, Mac. What's your favorite Thanksgiving side, and what's your preferred Thanksgiving dessert?
Oh my gosh! We've always played on Thanksgiving, so it's always been leftovers for me on Saturday after the family ate on Friday, because Texas and A&M always played either on Thanksgiving Day or Friday. I would think my favorite part of Thanksgiving has always been dark meat turkey sandwiches with mayonnaise and relish. I love that the day after. And I would think that we always had green bean casserole mixed with it. And then I'm trying to think the dessert. I guess I don't want to be non-traditional here, but you're supposed to eat pumpkin pie, right? Isn't that it? I think mine would have always been some cobbler, and usually peach.
All right, great. I knew you were a dark meat guy, Mac.
Yeah, no, I am. That's one of the reasons I have to watch my weight all the time because it's not good. They keep telling me to eat the white meat. So
We do have another question. Kira Luck, go ahead.
Hey, Coach, I just wanted to know how you're dealing with the excitement and the nerves for tomorrow and, trying to keep your guys poised and just, focused on the game and not focused on the excitement surrounding it.
yeah, Kara, we're trying to get so we practice the same way every day. I told the guys that this is a national game. It gets a lot of attention. Next week, we'll be playing Western Carolina. It won't get near as much attention. But for us to be the program we want to be, next Tuesday's practice should be like this Tuesday's practice. That's who you've got to become. You've got to become a team that gets better every day and works hard to get better. And the other thing, in this game, the pressure is really on Notre Dame. This is a game that people don't expect us to win. They're wondering if we can hang in there. So I told the guys, give it your best shot. It's a chance for us to find out who we are against a national team. If we're not where we need to be, we understand we got a lot of work to do, and we'll keep working to get there. And then we'll have another shot at a national game with a top 10 team with Miami in a couple of weeks. But don't go in there uptight and not play well and then look back and regret it. Go have fun. This is what you play for. This should be fun. This should be a game of excitement and joy. You got a national TV audience watching you. You've got a great opponent. You come to places to play games like this. So I want our guys to embrace these games and have fun with these games and be excited about these games and go compete every play. And I'm excited to see where we are. So these are not the ones you get uptight about. The ones you get uptight about are when you're supposed to win and like Florida State. I mean, that we go down there and lay an egg, and that one hurts you. But this one's it's a fun game for us to go throw everything we've got at them and see where we are.
Okay. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Let's swing back over to Andrew Jones.
Hey, Coach, since Ross brought food into the discourse here, I'm just kind of curious about tomorrow. Do you guys do you have like the same routine for a meal the day before a game, especially when it's an afternoon game, or because it's Thanksgiving, do you kind of let them go full throttle on Thanksgiving stuff tomorrow?
No, Andrew, we will treat this week is crazy anyway, but you always for a Friday game you move the days back one day. So Sunday would normally be Monday. Since we had all the finals we had on Tuesday, we had to change that. But Sunday would normally be Monday. That'd be the day off. Monday would be a Tuesday practice. Tuesday would be a Wednesday practice. Wednesday would be Thursday before the Friday game. Thursday would be the day you have your walkthroughs and stuff. So what we will do is this is actually our Thursday practice day. So we'll practice for an hour and a half in the stadium this afternoon. And then tomorrow would be our Friday routine, which will be a walkthrough for about 45, 50 minutes. And then we'll have a team meal. And it'll be a night before the game meal. It will not be Thanksgiving. And then we'll go to the hotel tomorrow night and Thursday night. And then we will have our regular game day routine for Friday. And then we'll have some Thanksgiving stuff for the guys on Saturday.
Okay, that's kind of what I figured, but I wanted just to make sure since Ross was talking food. So
yeah, their lives are very different. I mean, this is game week, and they've worked really, really hard to get here. So we feel like they can have their Thanksgiving on Saturday.
Sounds good. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, let's go to Alyssa Ray.
Coach, unusual year with Notre Dame in the ACC, no divisions. But what has the Irish brought to this conference, and to have not only a big national game on Friday, but also it's an ACC game?
Alyssa, they bring national attention. They bring prestige. It's one of those programs that everybody talks about all the time, and they've earned that right. So I think it's good for our league. It's made it more competitive. It's made it exciting here at the end with a few teams that are still in the mix to have a chance to play in the playoff. Weirdly enough, them upsetting Clemson is new for our league. So I really think that it's healthy. I would be one of those, like I guess everybody, that would embrace them and want them to be in our league. And I think it was really, really smart of John Swafford and whoever to bring them in this year, because it obviously brings more revenue and more attention to our league in a year that athletic directors, chancellors, and presidents need money. So the sharing of revenue with Notre Dame has obviously helped our entire league. So I think it's really smart. And I think I mentioned earlier, we're one of the ones fortunate enough that we've got a 3-game series with them. So we go to South Bend next year, and hopefully we'll have the ability to have full crowds again next year, because we've missed our fans so much. And then they come back here the next year. So we actually have a 3-game series with them, and that'll be a fun challenge for us.
And to have them on your schedule as well as Miami, do you guys look at that as an opportunity, kind of the dark horse in the ACC that can shake things up here?
Yeah, so Alyssa, we're trying to be a national program, and these two are right now. They're top 10s. I told the guys the other day that we're 6 to 10 plays away from being undefeated, and sitting here at 8-0 with Notre Dame 8-0, we'd both be in the top 5 probably, and we'd be competing for a chance to play in the conference championship game, much less the playoff. And that's what you've got. I said I'm not trying to yell at you for not making those plays or us not coaching you well enough to make those plays, but reality is that we're a lot closer to getting in the mix of some things than people think we are. And we didn't make those plays in those 2 games. But if we had, this would be a different tone on this press conference as we get ready for Friday's game, because it sure would have been a national game instead of a game that we're hoping we can compete in.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, Alyssa.
Okay, let's go over to Art Chansky.
Hey, Mac, how you doing?
Good, Art.
Piggybacking off what you just said, you probably don't read it in the media, but the media, or it's not really local media, it's mostly national media. When they talk about North Carolina, they talk about offense. They really trash the defense. Now, you're number 9 in the ACC. You're obviously not as bad as they say. So can you brag on your defense a little bit, or talk about why it doesn't get as much credit as it might deserve?
Yeah, Art, there's a number of things. You compare us to Notre Dame's defense, and they're giving up 85 yards rushing, and I think we're 157 or something, and we just haven't stopped the run like we should consistently. Now, in certain games, we played well on defense against Boston College. We played well on defense against Syracuse. So there's games where we've stepped up. We played really well till the end of the game on defense against NC State. We did the same against Duke. So there have been times that we have, but we haven't consistently stepped up. And the 2 games that we lost, people were able to run the ball well against us, and quarterback runs hurt us. And Ian Book has gotten 6 touchdowns with his feet. So I think more than anything else, the comparison is tough, Art, because our offense is one of the best in the country, and therefore our defense is one of the middle of the league. But we've given up some big pass plays. We can play much better on defense than we have, and I think that's what's been obvious. When people looked at us as a number 5 team in the country, which we weren't, and I didn't think is probably fair to our team to be put in that position, because half the teams weren't playing at that time, and people got all excited. But I go on facts, and the facts are that we've got to improve our defense. If we can't stop the run or make them more inconsistent with the run on Friday, then we're not going to be able to win the game. And that's where people are being critical of our defense. They're coming. The young players are playing really well. They're getting more reps. We've got 12 more guys coming in, most of them on defense at midterm. I think we'll have a spring practice. So I really anticipate our defense being much better next year than it is right now.
So when you dropped from 5 to 14 to 15 with one loss and then completely out of the rankings with the second loss, that had to be, what was that? Was that they didn't believe that North Carolina really belonged, or was it all on the defense?
Yeah, I think it was the fact that Florida State's really struggling, and we lost that game on the road, and a lot of people gave up on us at that time. So I think it was more that it was about Florida State struggles compared to us being number 5, and then the big drop after that, because I thought people got too excited and put us too high, and then they probably got too down and put us too low. So that's just the way life is.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
All right, well, let's close up today with CL Brown. Go ahead, CL.
Hi, Mac. I was just curious on how you go about preparing for a coach like Brian Kelly, who's obviously had a lot of success along the way. How far back do you go when you're scouting him? Is it just his stuff at Notre Dame? Like, did his concepts pretty much change when he came from Cincinnati? Or do you go back to find, some kind of 4th and 1 on the 40 that he ran at Western Michigan or something, just to know every single thing he's going to try and he might try and do?
Well, CL, we've got 10 years of him at Notre Dame. So you wouldn't go back to Cincinnati or Central Michigan or Grand Valley State. But you go back a couple of years, and most of our guys have played Notre Dame at some point or have coached against Brian at some point. And even though the game evolves and coaches have to evolve with it, people still have their personalities, and they're going to be who they are most of the time in a ball game. So you know what Brian is. I mean, they're a tough physical football team that's going to line up and try to run it down your throat. They're going to use play action. They use their tight ends a lot from a lot of bunch sets, and that's who he is. That's not changing. And then on defense, they're going to be very sound. They're going to make you beat them. They're going to try to keep the ball in front of you. They're not going to let you run the ball. They're going to keep the guys in the box like 6 and 14. And then they're going to come after you on 3rd down with different looks and different disguises. So, and then Brian Polian's their special teams coach, and he was the head coach at Nevada. I even did one of their bowl games when he was down at the Louisiana Lafayette game. So you know pretty much the personality of the staff and who they are. And Coach Elko and Jay Bateman and Coach Clark all know each other, so they've all studied defense together for years. And so everybody knows about what the other team's going to do. It's just when they do it.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, CL.
All right, Coach Brown, thank you so much for your time today. We appreciate it.
Thank you. You all have a great Thanksgiving, and we'll see you on Friday.